our internet. Oh, still thinking. Is it frozen? Oh, there we go. It's frozen, vocab. It's frozen. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Arts for the Health of It.
Hi, Richard.
I'm Richard Wayne.
Hi, Catherine. We were live for a while there, and we're just staring off into space.
Oh, and we're still in holiday mode over here at my house, and we have a house full of 400 people, and so I think everyone's sucking my internet out, and so we'll see what happens here. Catherine's also traveling, right, for the holidays?
Yes. I'm in Florida using my dad's office again. We did this over the summer with Marisa. So yeah.
So you're on a hotspot.
I'm on a hotspot. Here it is.
And our guest today, Vocab, just got a new computer that she doesn't know how to use. So welcome. And thankfully, this is our last episode of the year. And it may be our last episode ever if we don't get our stuff together. But that's fine. Catherine, I know you're traveling and you're with family and you have a young child. Do you create art during the holidays? Is that your downtime because so much is going on, or how does that work for you?
I think it just transfers to being the creativity goes into wrapping gifts and writing cards, and it's probably less like sitting down to do a painting. Though I did make a little painting. This is for my husband for his Christmas card.
Let me see. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me make this larger.
So no, we're going to make it bigger.
I think so. I'm going to try. Wow.
So that was
his love coffee?
Christmas card. He does. Yes. He drinks coffee every day. And we've known each other a very long time. And one of the ways we bonded initially was over several cups of coffee. So yeah. So it's sentimental.
This is why we get along so well. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
When do you have? Oh, sorry. Go.
No, go ahead.
Do you have a big New Year's Eve plan? Are you a New Year's Eve person?
Not huge. No, we will be back in Mississippi by then. Other than probably hearing fireworks go off, no big plans.
Yeah.
What about you? Are you still going to have 400 people at your house?
Everyone leaves tomorrow. So they arrived last Tuesday. I love holidays. I do love it because everyone walked in and they were like, "Oh, your house is so cute," because it's all decorated and the tree's up, and that's what I love is creating that for everybody. So it's been a really fun week and a lot of noise. We're not used to noise, so it's a lot of talking and a lot of video games and a lot of yelling, good and bad yelling, and
you have to have both.
Yes, you have to have both. It's family. So I got new headphones. So I've been using those a lot because they are noise canceling. And
excellent.
So I have used the art of music to drown everybody out in my corner of my life.
I hope they watch this episode.
Yes, me too. I hope they do. No, it's been really fun. They have flown from all over the country and parts of Texas, and so I'm grateful that they could do that. And New Year's Eve, I think I'll still be in bed resting from this past week.
Yeah, recovering.
Yeah, we got a new cool outdoor griddle thing for Christmas.
Nice.
So I think we're gonna put that together, and that's going to be our New Year's Eve. We'll make food out on the patio and just kind of hang out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's exciting. Sure. Everyone who's listening and watching, we have a really fun fundraiser happening right now. It's our end of year campaign to continue connection. We have a goal of $33,000, and I wanted to give you an update on how we're doing and how you can support us. Let's show this. Hopefully it'll happen. There we go. Here.
All right. We've made some progress.
Way to do it, how to do that. Anyway, yes, we have made some progress. I mean, look at we have $1,000 donation from Guy. Do you know who the person who donated this morning was? Catherine?
That's my cousin, and she listens to Arts for the Health of It all the time. And she has shared with me that partly because of this podcast, it's encouraged her to be more creative with her daughter who loves to draw. So that, yes, that's my wonderful cousin and her family. So thank you guys for supporting again. It's the second time, I think.
Wow. Well, thank you. Yes. I saw that and I was like, oh, good. Catherine's saying we can talk about it today. And Maggie and everybody who has donated thus far, thank you so much for doing that. It's going to change the lives of many, many people in the hospital and healthcare workers and their families. That's how you can donate. You can scan to donate that QR code. You can text 6 because it's our 6th birthday this year. That's why it's 6, SIX, to 53555. Go to heartsneedart.org. You can do all the things. You can call me and I'll tell you how to do it. Catherine, you can email her, show up at her house, or do whatever you got to do. But yes, we have one more week. This ends on the 31st. And I believe we may or may not have a matching donor this week.
We do.
So any money that you donate this week will be, yes. I didn't know if the newsletter went out yet or not. So
it did.
So
did you check your email this morning, Richard?
No, it's been a morning. I made coffee this morning and I forgot that there was still some in the pot, and so it overflowed when it's been a day.
Lovely. Okay, you get a pass.
Yeah, so any money that you donate this week will actually be, thank you, will be matched. I need that card from you to remind me that coffee is still a good thing. All right. We have a really, really fun guest today. Thank you. I will take that from you. We should have planned that better. I could have had one here and then I know. Anyway, yeah. So we have Andrea Vocab Sanderson with us today, who's the poet laureate of San Antonio and just the probably best human ever. She's a poet. She is a singer. I want to talk about that. She has amazing hair today because she does it every 6 weeks for hours. She looks good. She's doing amazing things out in the world. And she's also joined Hearts Need Art, and we're very proud and excited and that she's here. Catherine, what is she going to be doing at Hearts Need Art?
Oh, so our big announcement is that Vocab is joining us as, I know we need a drum roll sound effect. Do you have one?
Oh, wait, hold on. Wait for it. Yeah, I can't. This is why. Okay, I'm ready. I don't have a drum roll, but I have, I have the usual. Okay, go.
Starting.
What is she doing, Catherine?
She's just here for fun. No, starting in the new year, Vocab's going to be joining as my co-host on Arts for the Health of It.
Is it clapping? I can't hear the clapping. Oh, it's the internet.
That's great. So
it's done.
I'm looking forward to having her on today and getting to know her and have our listeners get to know who she is if they don't know her already. It's just I'm just excited she's joining Hearts Need Art.
Me too. I will still be around, but not here. You don't get to listen to me babble every week, which is probably lucky for everyone. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with Vocab after this 10-second song.
Come along with me, and I know you'll see that a song changes everything.
Did it play?
Yes. It did.
Never played it. One second of it played on my end. No, yeah, it is 10 seconds. It's a lot of work back here to get everybody on, but it never played for a second here. That's why I was like, I saw her and then we were all muted. All right. Anyway, hi, Vocab.
Hi.
Look at what you're getting yourself into. That's the real thing. Vocab, before we start, I want to know how you got the name Vocab. Is that a what do you call it? Your nickname?
It's a stage
What
name.
does it mean to you and how did you get it? Okay. And how did you get it?
It's an acronym which means vocally optimizing, capturing, analyzing, becoming. and it's becoming spoken word because
Wow.
I feel, I know, I've heard, I read somewhere in the Bible that, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And so I feel like our words are so important that we embody them as individuals, and the vocabulary, the lexicon, the words that you use are a part of the very essence of who you are. And so I feel like I'm becoming everything that I say. um and so it's the mindfulness. It's a reminder to me, like, be mindful of the things that you say, the
Mm,
things you speak out, the things you declare. And yeah.
that's so powerful.
Thank you.
I was
Thank you very
expecting
much.
just like, vocabulary and I know words. That's what I was expecting. And then there's,
Her
of
her
course,
explanation was way better, than that.
Well, when I was little,
yeah.
when I was little, I read the dictionary, and I was like really fascinated with words and vocabulary words. And so I had a rap name, and then I shortened my rap name to just vocab because it was that was part of it, but it was longer. And I was like, I'm more of a poet now. I still do hip hop. Hip hop came back to me. But for a while, like when I was 16, I was writing a lot of rap and some poetry. Yes, but a lot of rap. And then when I got older, I wrote a lot of poetry and a little less rap, but I still do both. So yeah.
So your first love was music.
Music is my first love. Yes.
Yeah.
Don't tell
Yeah.
everybody. Oops, we're on a podcast.
Sorry. Whoops.
Do you mind sharing kind of, I guess, how you got started? Like what I've read about you, and I've read this story about your aunt's typewriter, and it's such a beautiful story. So I'm curious if you can share some parts of that. So
Sure. Well, first, how are you all? I'm going to answer that question. How are you all? Y'all doing all right?
Oh, great.
Aside
Minus the
from-
internet.
yeah, we're
Did
super
you
professional.
actually drink any of the coffee that over poured from your pot?
Well, okay. So then I have a mug that's like electric, and you plug it in and it keeps you can select the temperature, and that was
Yeah,
off.
fancy.
So now I have cold coffee. So now I'm waiting for it to warm up. Oh, also our furnace went out this morning. So it's been a
This
good
is
day.
awesome. Yeah.
But I will
You
journal
didn't
about it
tell.
later.
You didn't tell us all about the furnace. Like, that's where you should have started. My
Yeah.
furnace went out. Boom. And then everything else that you told us was just like, but the furnace going out, like, that's like,
That's the
And,
heavy
I mean,
hitter.
and most people will be like, well, you're in Texas, who cares? But it was 64 degrees in the house when I woke up, and it's cold here in Texas right now. But anyway, I'm fine. I really have no complaints.
He's drinking coffee now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's warm now. It's now to the perfect temperature of 136 degrees. So I am good. Nothing can stop me now.
Yeah, our hearts are with the people who are in those states where they have no power right
No
now,
power.
and they're going through this Arctic freeze. And God bless them all, the people of Buffalo, New York, and all that stuff that's going on. It's so super tragic. And even during the holidays, we definitely need some healing in our lives. So may something we say today bring a little bit of healing or joy or something to your day. But to answer your question, I'm going to go into that now. So yes, when I was 6 years old, I was in Corpus Christi at my cousin's house, my aunt's house. I guess it was my aunt's house, not my cousin's house. My dad only has one sister. Her name is Debbie or Deborah, but Aunt Debbie's house. And she had this typewriter sitting there, and this was the 80s. So, there wasn't, big people didn't have computers in their houses like that,
Right.
that didn't come till much later with our AOL dial-ups. We were fascinated with this typewriter. I think it was a noise and like the way the little things would go forward and like smack the paper or whatever. So my cousins and my sister and we used to fight over who could play on the typewriter, and I wanted to win. So I got some time on the typewriter, and I decided to write my mommy a poem. And we were driving back to San Antonio, and I was trying to get her to read the poem. Why? I don't know. She was driving, and I was like, Mom, read this poem. I wrote you this. Read it. She's like, I'm driving. What are you doing?
If you could, it was the 80s, so she was also reading maps while she was driving too, I'm sure.
For
So
maps. Yeah.
Well, lucky for us, it's a straight shot back to San Antonio. 37 is like straight shot. Like there are no veer offs, nothing like that. So, but yeah, that's so funny. The idea. Yeah, I remember though, when we went to Houston, we would have to stop at a gas station and ask for directions or get maps.
yeah,
Bad stuff. Bad stuff.
scary.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And then you had to get on payphones.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got started. I was writing, and I remember being in elementary school, and the literary magazine would come around, and I would get excited if my poems were in there and stuff like that. And I guess that never stopped. There's some more sadness to my story, which I think where the healing element comes in. When I was 13, I was friends with a young lady, and she was murdered by her then boyfriend. And after her murder, I was like very distraught, extremely distraught. I had never lost a friend. And I decided to write a poem for her memorial service. And I went to my art teacher's classroom and I sat down, and she led me through this breathing meditation exercise. And she was like, and when you feel ready, just pick up the pencil and begin to sketch. Just draw something. And I started drawing. And then I remember as I was drawing, I was like, I'm so frustrated. I'm so hurt, but I need the words. I need the words. And I drew a tree. And part of the way through the tree, I started writing words instead of drawing the tree. And it turned into a memorial piece for her. And that was like the first, they put it in the school newspaper. And from there, when people passed away, I wrote a lot of poems in my life for people that have passed away. Put it like that.
So you've been doing arts for the health of it for a long time. Did you know what arts and health was? Like, I didn't know that arts and health existed until I met the founder of Hearts Need Arts. So did you know that that's what you were doing, or was that just a natural, like, this is what I need to do, and never like put two and two together?
I think I understood at a young age, at the age of 13, I think I understood that it was helping me to process grief, and that it would help other people process their grief if I said something, trying to embody to a certain extent, like how I was talking about the meaning of my name, embody some parts of the essence of that human being, capture it through words. I think I've always kind of understood that from, teenage years on upward, that people are searching for a way to articulate their emotions, because we feel a lot of things, but I don't know if I thought about what it does, physiological aspects, or what it does to the body per se. I just thought about the mental and emotional health aspect of it.
All right, do you have a question? I can ask a question.
I can't tell if you're frozen. Sorry. Okay.
Sorry, I
Go
couldn't
ahead,
either. I know we're going to do an activity with you today, which I'm very excited about. Do we want to do that now?
Whenever y'all want.
Catherine?
Yeah, let's jump in.
I'm just here.
What do people need for this activity, so we can give them a second to go grab things if they need it?
Well, it's up to you if you want to use pencil and paper or pen and paper, or if you want to write on your phone. Some of you are probably watching this on your phone. So whatever, you just need to write. Whatever you want to use to write. And everybody does it differently.
Okay. Catherine, do you have pen and paper?
I do. I'm ready.
Awesome.
No.
Okay. Maybe
Next
y'all got my slides. I don't know if y'all got my slides.
Oh,
or
we
not.
sure do.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Watch me do this. Do we need the first one up there? Is that what you're asking for?
I'm going to give you a little dance while you do it.
Oh, we
yeah.
can't see your dance.
Okay.
Here we
Cool.
do
So we're
this.
going to do a writing prompt today. And I know y'all can read, but I'm going to read to you because some of y'all have probably small screens because you may be watching this on your phone. So we're going to do a prompt I teach a lot of creative writing, which we haven't gotten into that conversation, but maybe we'll talk about it after we do a little bit of writing. And this prompt is called If My Skin Could Speak. So you can use that as your title. You could use that as your sentence starter. You could use that as just the theme of your piece. What we're going to focus on is personification, which means giving something that is not human qualities. And I know you're thinking, my skin is part of me. Yes, your skin is part of you as a human being, but your skin is not you. It is on top of what's inside of you, and what's inside of you is the actual human being. So we're going to let your voice speak for a few minutes. Now, this poem could be 7 lines, or it can be longer than that. It's up to you. So I would like for your poem to be at least 7 lines. And I know you're thinking, well, where do I get started? How do I do this? I do have some sentence starters that will come after this slide, but let's start with this slide. So if you would like to brainstorm, these are some questions you can ask yourself. If your skin could tell a story about your identity, what would it say? Include places, colors that you've experienced, sights that you've seen, sounds that you've heard, smells that you've experienced, and sensations that you felt. What would your skin say about your family or your friends? What kind of scars do you have? A lot of people, when we do this, we do focus on the scars, which I think is amazing, because sometimes people view their scars as flaws, but they're actually something that are a part of you that is unique, because not anybody else will have the scar that you have that developed the way that you did. And even, I say this all the time, even if you have an identical twin or you're a family of multiples, it doesn't matter. Your individual experience is unique to you, because none of those other people have lived in your skin. And how would you describe yourself? So those are some brainstorm questions if you find that you're getting stuck. And we're going to move on to the next slide now. All right, so these are sentence starters that you can use in the yellow or the beginning of the sentences, and then you would fill in the rest after the ellipsis. And I put in quotes what could be in the rest of the sentence that you're filling in. So it's kind of like Mad Libs, which I don't know how old y'all are, but if you grew up in my generation, then you know what a Mad Lib book is. All right, so your first sentence could start out this way. Again, you don't have to use my sentence starters. You could just take the theme of my poem and run with it and go wherever you want. But if you want to use my sentence starters, here you go. If my skin could speak, it would say, give us a quote and why these words were chosen. Or you could just give us the quote. And also, don't forget about automatopoeia. You could definitely use some automatopoeia in this. Like one kid, well, you'll hear my poem in a minute, and it has automatopoeia. So if my skin could speak, it would say, fill in that blank. My skin feels is the next sentence. Give us an emotion, a temperature, a texture that your skin would experience. Because what we're doing here is we're using the 5 senses, and we may even move into a place of the 6th sense, which is intuition, which I'll talk about maybe a little bit in a few minutes. But my skin feels. So give us an emotion there for that one. Then in the next one, my skin is the color, or are the colors of, fill it in, make it up. Even if you know, and don't just use your regular, let's get more specific. Like, don't just say brown, maybe root beer brown, maybe caramel, maybe mahogany, maybe let's see, frost, or goose feather. These are cool words. I don't know, but come up with a color that you want your skin to be, or many colors. It has traveled to, name places that you've been to or experienced. Or if you're imagining this, if you haven't really gone there yet, maybe it's a place that you want to go, or maybe it's a place you've gone in your mind that you haven't physically gone to. My skin has, name something your skin owns, like a birthmark or freckle or a mole, or something unique about your skin. The next sentence is, my skin is a, compare your skin to an element of nature, a rock, a tornado, or something that's of nature. And the next sentence is even shorter. I'm only taking away like one word here. That's so funny. My skin is, give an adjective like itchy, fuzzy, sweaty, beautiful, etc. Use whatever adjective you want. Take your time. Now, as you're writing your piece, I am going to read my poem that is on the next. Yes, this is my example poem. I'll read it for you now. And if y'all need us to go back, maybe he'll go back to the other page in just a second so you could see those things. If my skin could speak, it would say splash, because I am a mermaid. My skin feels slick and salted with the rolling water. I am just a fish out of water, flopping and flailing on land. My skin is iridescent and shimmering when the light hits my pigment, but you perceive me as brown. My skin has traveled to so many different oceans, islands, and landlocked dirt. It has gone from the scorching sands of Dubai to the volcanic black debris of Maui. My skin is a rushing waterfall, heavily flooding down. My skin is scaled, smooth, and darker than the bottom of a lagoon. That is my poem.
This is a reminder not to compare what you're writing to what Vocab wrote. Because
No
as
pressure.
no pressure. I like
pressure.
have mine almost done, and then yours came out, and I was like, oh, okay. But I'm gonna go with what I wrote because I feel like that's what my skin wanted to tell me.
You already wrote yours?
I started writing it because as soon as the prompt came, I thought thoughts like ideas started coming of what my skin would
That's
say.
awesome.
Real loud.
I'm so happy that you started going, and that's
I
the
did.
beauty. Like sometimes we are trying to figure out inspiration. Inspiration is a magical thing that we can't always figure out a way to describe, but it's about being in the presence of other people that inspire us, because like-minded energy, the energy that I'm carrying, and I started speaking out to you all, and then boom, your ideas started coming to you about life lived experiences. And I think it's just about, that triggering, that ignition, that spark that comes from, interacting with other people sometimes that makes our inspiration go. So I'm really glad you wrote something.
Do we want to take a couple minutes to finish writing, Catherine? Do you want to?
Yes.
Have you written yet?
I wrote down some words, but that's it.
Okay, well, we'll put up the slide again with all of the prompts and play some music for a couple minutes, and then we'll see what we wrote. Bye. All right. I think this is such a good, like, you could do this every day as a journal. Like, to me, it was like a check-in of like how like taking it out of yourself sort of, and like, well, how's your skin today? Like, how's that feeling today? Anyway, sorry.
No,
I
I think
love
that's wonderful.
I love this exercise. Because it kind of makes you think about yourself, but you can not make it so personal almost. Like, anyway. Catherine, do you want to share first, or do you want me to go first? Do you want to share at all? You don't have to share. You're also muted. Oh,
Hi.
hi.
I would love for you to go first.
All right, so here's mine. As soon as you said skin, the first thing that popped in my head was don't pick at me, because I'm an anxious like picker of my skin, and so it would yell at me, and I'm always bleeding. My hands are always bloody. So don't pick at me. Don't pick on me. Let me feel the sun. Let me explore the world. Give me more laugh lines. Let me drink the tears from your eyes and moisturize. Moisturize was in all caps. Oh, I didn't realize that rhymed either until just now. But that's.
Oh, I thought that was intentional.
No, I'm always being screamed at. Can you please put lotion on? You're always picking and dry. So it would tell me to moisturize.
That is a great poem, and you could take that serious, or you could take that as a funny poem. Like either way, it could be humorous or just dead serious.
Yeah,
I love it.
Thanks.
All right. The thing that came to mind for me when you brought up this prompt was like things that I love, like places I love being. And so I grew up in Florida near beaches, and it's been a huge part of my life. So mine's kind of like a list. So here we go. My skin feels sea spray, seaweed, rolling tides, grainy sand, and digging coquinas. My skin has seen the sun near the Pacific blue, the Atlantic rough, the Gulf warmly lapping at the shoreline. My skin is changing with the tide, scars evolving like rounded seashells.
And that's what good writing makes you do. It makes you do that sigh.
I want to travel with Catherine.
You accept the fact that somebody is dope at what they do. You're a dope writer, and that's good. That was really good. I love all the sensory details, the textures of that piece. And I think that the more we write, the more we learn to put in the details, because every time we hear a story, we want details from the person. We don't want just like the facts. We want like, give me color, give me sound, give me even the intuition of what could come next, the expectancy of something. There's still more to this story that you're not telling me. As human beings, we naturally want that. But sometimes when we pick up the pen, we forget to do that. And so, with these writing workshops or these types of prompts, it reminds you to put in those details.
I guess that this kind of leads into a question about the creative writing workshops that you do, because I think, and we find this working in the hospital with patients with like visual art or writing or music, is probably more so visual art, is there's usually a like, I'm not an artist kind of rebuttal, right? And so I think I'm wondering, when you teach workshops, do you find that you have people that are just like, I'm not a writer, and maybe it's because they've never had just the guidance for someone to believe in them or to listen to them, and kind of, I don't know, share about how you handle that or help people through that.
Well, I start each class with a call and response, pledge of respect, which it goes like this, and this is not my own. I got it from my friend Selena Gonzalez, which, if you don't know her, I would love to introduce you to her and bring her on the show as a guest. When I start co-hosting with you, it'll be so fun. But it goes, I respect my art and the art of others. I respect my body and the bodies of others, and I respect my thoughts. That's not the order it goes in, but it's like we have to, if we start out from a place of just like self-defeat or self-deprecation, then we won't open up ourselves to the idea of creativity. And then the next mantra that I have, it's called it's like an arts mantra. I tell people to say this: I give myself permission to be creative, because that's what's happened in a lot of people's lives. They've shut certain aspects of their life down and they're not open to it. So first I have them recite this out loud and say this out loud. They make that confession, and then I lead them through whatever exercise of, talking to them about editing tools that they can use, literary devices that they can use to enhance their writing. And it's stuff that you learned in middle school, elementary school, high school. And some people, they might have gone through college and gotten that stuff, but you really can learn some of these fundamental basics in grade school. And then I just remind them of the stuff that they learned already, or that they may be learning in the process of learning if I'm talking to young adults. And then they're like, oh, you just kind of break it down on those levels for them so that they, can understand. And then if I hear them saying things out of their mouth like I can't or I'm not good at, I try to redirect them immediately so that they don't dwell in that space. But I feel like a writing exercise like this makes writing very practical, even though it's creative and expressive. It makes it super practical for them to use. Yeah.
I feel like we could talk to you for 4 hours.
Oh.
Because you have so much information and you're doing so much. So I'm glad that we get to see you here every week starting January 10th. Because then we can learn from you every week. Like, I'm so excited for this, but I want to know, as we're wrapping up, because we told you 30 minutes and it's been way over that. When I came to you and asked you to do this, why do you think you're here? Like, what's your reason for saying yes to this? What's your why?
My reason for saying yes to this is an answer to prayer, because I had talked to God. If you do not know me, if you've never heard of me, I had a 20-year career at Juvenile Detention Center as it's like entry-level type position as a main control officer. Basically, I don't know if you've ever seen a prison movie. I'm the one that opens the doors for people. I answer the phone. I'm like a secretary of the prison. I have the eyes and ears of the facility, all the cameras, all that stuff. So I worked in that office by myself for the most part. For 20 years on the night shift. Just about, I think I spent 19 years on third shift, but I was on second shift for like 1 year. But anyways, so I did that for 20 years. And during most of that time, I questioned why I was there, because I knew I was like, God, this can't be it. I'm here, but this is not who I am. And this isn't even my personality to like sit in a prison space in a detention facility. Right. And so all the while I was doing artistry and being an artist and stuff like that. In the last couple of years, I became the poet laureate of San Antonio. And so even more so, I was like, I really would like to have more time to dedicate to my arts career and using art to improve people's lives, because I realized that's what my destiny was, and a bigger part of my purpose. And so one day on the last week, I think, like in November, I prayed to God and I was like, God, I want to use my arts for healing specifically. Like, I want to work with people that are sick or in a bad space emotionally, to help them through and help them heal. Those were my specific words. I want to help people heal through my art. Within 2 or 3 days of me praying that prayer, my friend Sansire Murray asked me and introduced me to this idea of the Hearts Need Art, and trying to come in and work specifically either through patient care and healthcare facilities and stuff like that. So when I sat down with Richard for the onboarding process, he was like, yeah, and how about podcasting? He did not know that I had just had a conversation with my mother, and I was driving home from work, and she was like, I had this dream about you this morning. I'm talking to my mom. It's in the 7 o'clock hour. And I'm driving home in rush hour San Antonio traffic. And she was like, I had this dream and I saw you and you were on TV and you were doing an arts television show and you were interviewing people. And I feel like you need to follow that path. I feel like if there's an opportunity for that in your life, you need to follow that. And then within me having that conversation with her, like the next day or within 2 days, I was having a conversation with Richard, and he introduced the idea of podcasting and interviewing people for the arts. No lie.
Incredible.
every time you've told me that a couple times, like I tear up every time I hear that because I just like I can't express how excited I am for the future of this podcast with the two of you here. Now I'm gonna cry because I'm a big baby, but like
You're allowed to cry.
I just like this podcast was like a dream of mine for a very long time to do it for Hearts Need Art and to get to do it with such amazing people for so many years. And now I get to like watch the two of you and help you guys make something really cool. I'm very excited.
So have you told them your story? How many times have you told the story on your podcast about how this organization came into your life when you were in the hospital? And have you talked about that ever?
I feel like I talk about it all the time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was like, that is so powerful. Like, I wish I had been here to see. I wish I had been on the fly on the wall for some of that process of watching how this organization impacted you. Like, I see you up doing so many tremendous things in community, raising money and being fueled. And I had no idea the power of what was behind the fueling until you showed me that video in my orientation and you tried to wreck my life. I was like,
welcome.
Video after video of people that are, battling leukemia, battling any form of disability. And this organization comes into their life and shows them what art can do for them. And I'm just like, I'm like, this is it. This is purpose. If there's nothing else I'm here to do, like, this is so important. Yeah.
Yeah. I say that all the time where I feel very selfish because I feel like I get so much out of being here and we're supposed to be doing it for other people. But it has saved my life. And so to get to watch how this is going to move out into I'm so excited.
Me too. Oh man.
Yeah, and to watch the two of you, I can't even I can't. And Vocab's episodes start on January 10th, so you have one more week of me. I'm so sorry.
You're great.
So and I know you have. Do you have a giveaway for people?
I do have a giveaway. That last slide will show you, because if I tried to get up right now, it would wreak havoc on this space. But the last slide will show you what it is. So I have a book entitled She Lives in Music. It was published on Flower Song Press in February of 2020. Sorry. Let me try that again. February of 2020. On Valentine's Day in 2020, I released my book through Flower Song Press there because I did it as an act of love. And that's what it was, a manifestation of love. I won a grant from which is now the Luminaria Artist Foundation. And with that grant, I did a companion project of the album, which is on the left. I know it has the same cover art, but on the left is She Tastes Like Music is the name of my album. And the book is called She Lives in Music. And Mac Shelton, who I just saw the other day, she has a cool new haircut. She did this art. I sat down at Carmen's de la Calle one day right before hosting the show. And she looked at me, she goes, "I came here to see you." And then a few minutes later, she said, "I want to paint you." And I asked her if I could use her painting for my art, my cover art for my book and my album. So yeah, I'm going to give away my book unless you want the album. But either way, you could just stream the album on any music platform. I'm going to give the book away. Okay, I'm done.
Read her book, listen to her music. I mean, you're just amazing.
As are you.
Stop. This isn't about me. Deflect. Catherine will tell you how you can win those things because she does our social media and I don't know how. So I'm guessing go on our social media.
Catherine. Well, yes. You can go on our Hearts Need Art social media on Facebook or Instagram. If you'd like to enter yourself to get Vocab's book. I was going to ask something else. Oh, for people who would like to purchase your book, Vocab, what's the best way? Is it Amazon? Is it through the publisher? What's the most helpful to you?
I think I'll get a bigger profit if you go through my publisher, which is flowersongpress.com. But I mean, my book is on target.com. It's on barnesandnoble.com. It's on all these .coms. If you live in San Antonio, there are some libraries that carry it that you could go and check it out from. And if you run into me on the streets, in these streets, yeah, you can purchase it from me because I usually keep my box. I'm now keeping my box of books in my car.
Smart.
So I can be ready in all seasons and all times. And it's only, if you buy it from me directly, it's only $12. It might be a little bit more online.
Perfect.
Awesome.
But it's on Amazon too. Yeah, it's on all those places.
I know there's like a giant list of things that we wanted to talk about, but you're also going to be back. So feel free to talk about anything and everything every time the two of you are together. Do we have any final words before we let everybody go and I have to go wipe my eyes and blow my nose? Anything?
I want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in that is tuned in today. And feel free to share if you know people that write that you feel like they're letting their writing sit or they're not writing enough. Feel free to share this podcast with them that has that writing prompt in it so that they can, in their time, come back to writing. Because what I've discovered a lot through teaching is that people tell me, I used to write when I was younger, but I let it get away from me. And I feel like y'all probably have had this discussion with a lot of people that y'all have talked to. People start doing creativity at a young age and they give it up for whatever reason. And then you just have to reintroduce it to them. And then they have to give themselves the permission to come back into it. And so thank you both for the work that you do for healing and for arts. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being for sharing openly. And I, like Richard said, I just feel like there's so much to learn from you and with you. And I'm thankful that you're here.
I'm happy to be here. I wear my primary colors for y'all.
I know, and somehow our graphics matched your outfit, so that's all I'm happy about. She's happy we're here, and now we're gonna leave. So thank you all for watching and listening. Make sure you subscribe wherever you're doing those things. Keep creating, and we will see you next week. Goodbye, everyone.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to Arts for the Health of It. This episode is produced by Hearts Need Art, creative support for patients and caregivers, and hosted by Richard Wilmore and Catherine Parsi. You can support the show and help others learn about the healing power of the arts by visiting heartsneedart.org. The views expressed on this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views of Hearts Need Art, their staff, board members, or other affiliates. All content is created for informational purposes only. This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice or to diagnose and treat any health condition. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health professional with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard